say, man, it's like I'm just after a true giant. I'm getting a bunch of, say, even getting like a bunch of 5s, right? As an East Coast angler, that's crazy, that's good. But I would trade them all for like 1/8. As a big bait angler, your entire year could be made in one cast. One cast, that's all I need. If I can get into that 7 or 8 pound fish, it's a long road, but if you just want that moment, you know, that few people can claim, just keep at it, man. Just keep at it. Once I get that fish, that strong 7 or that 8, I was like, honestly, I'm gonna feel like I could take a break. Like I just don't have to go as hard on this anymore. I was like, but I can't stop until I succeed. What's up, guys? It's Keeping It Real Fishing here. Just launched, just got a few hours today, probably about 3.5 hours. No secret where I am here. This is Merrill Creek, for those of you guys who are in New Jersey. Very popular place, beautiful place, pristine place. A lot of tournaments and such. Anyway, what I'm happy to see is that the water level's been suppressed for almost as long as I can remember, the past 5 or 6 years. It's finally back up, really back up. And so all the grass, all the stuff these fish used to use that has been not available to them is available again. We have topwater temps of 54 degrees. It's a pretty big impoundment. I've been fishing some of my smaller ponds, which are actually above 60. They've been about 61, 62 as topwaters. But this place, being that it's so big and so deep, it's of course slow to warm up. So I'm considering that into my game plan. I'm in one of the main big shallow flats here. This is one of the spawning flats. And I just know that people are coming back here, you know, throwing the Senkos and just throwing all this stuff for, you know, the early bedding bass. But I like to just come in with something different, and that's typically, you know, my thing as a New Jersey guy. I'm throwing my big Huddlestons and my big, you know, glide baits and stuff I just don't see other people throwing. So even when I follow up a spot that I've seen a couple people go through, I don't mind, because I know I'm showing those fish something vastly different than they probably see all day. So anyway, on that note, what I'm going to show them right now is a new one for me. This is from Tater Hog Custom Lures, and man, this thing is really, really sweet. Just the crafting of it is nice. It's a foiled finish, topwater glide. It's 8 inches, and it has a little tiny joint there with like a little bit of restricted motion. It just gives it a little bit more action than most other glides out there. It's very different, and I'm sure nobody else is throwing a big giant glide first thing here in the spring. But you know, in looking for a different caliber of fish and looking for a true giant, I'm always trying to think outside of the box. And you know, might seem crazy, might seem like sometimes an illogical technique, but what I've seen over the years is that just doing something that nobody else is going to do, yeah, you get a lot of, you know, it's often slow, but it also has produced for me results that I probably would not have gotten had I just gone a more traditional route. So what I always say is, you miss every shot you don't take. And I got nothing to lose here but a little bit of time. I'm going to bring this big glide through here. There's a lot of Pikerel in here too. And in years past, I've noticed that they'll yoke this thing up pretty fast here in the beginning of the year. Above these weed flats, they'll murder these big glides. They have no problem in the colder temps. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of them crashed it. But we are looking for that really big bass. We got some structure there, just some wood cages that they put in. I'm sure the fish like those. Get it nice and close to this rock. Got him. Got him. Ain't like that. Ah, it is a pick. Well, kind of according to plan. I would just prefer he get off. You know how it is with pickerel. Show you guys what's going on down here. That didn't take long, first cast. Whoa. Good day for it. It's not super slick. Just a little hair of wind here, maybe like 5 miles an hour. But I like that. Water's definitely still enough such that they can see anything on it readily. But super slick conditions. I usually find that a topwater bite can be a bit suppressed if it's not, unless it's early in the morning or late in the evening. So this is not early in the morning, this is about 10:45 in the morning. We just got a nice overcast day. High today is only going to be about 60, and this is May the, what do we got here, May the 6th? Yeah, May the 6th. Good time of year, guys. It's the time to be out here, you know? This is the time, baby. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to chance getting really tight. This is something that I always like to do. I've just been doing, you know, casting from deep, so drawing them out. But particularly this time of year, I mean this is true any time of year, but particularly now in the spawn, is one of the things I'll do is I'll bring my canoe in real tight. And it never ceases to amaze me how not only just fish, but big fish will sometimes be in ultra skinny water. It's like their backs are almost just poking out of the top. And so I like to bring myself in real tight. And not only is that an area where they very well can be this time of year, but also it's a point of pinning the lure. And it's really, to them it really takes them off because, or they look at it as a good feeding opportunity, because not only is the lure in really shallow water, such that, you know, they can just without a lot of effort go up and get it, and not only is it on top, which is in itself, you know, it's an elimination of one dimension, right? The lure, or if they look at it, the fish, their prey, can't go any higher, right? It's not in the water column, it's on top. But when it's on top and you're bringing it real close to a shoreline, they can pin it this way and they can pin it that way, and that gets to be too much for them. It's just too easy of a meal. And that's one of my favorite combinations, is bringing really big lures, you know, stuff that they can't ignore, they can't miss. And so then you have a trifecta. You can pin it against the top, you can pin it against shore, and it's a big meal that's worth the effort to go after it. I'm not saying it works out every time, of course not, but it's really hedging your bets. And again, certain times of the year this works better than others, and this is one of the prime times of the year for this technique, is when you know that the biggest fish in the lake, those big females, are going to be coming shallow. The urge to spawn will bring them shallow. So, you know, all times of year you could always make a living fishing, you know, that kind of 0 to 10 feet of water. There's always fish to be had there. There's always going to be some giants, you know, crossing paths with them. But this time of year, they're there. I mean, it's not a question. They are coming shallow. So this is, as somebody who's really after trophy fish, it's all about, you know, that's all you can do is hedge your bets. You know, there's no guarantees out there, but you just want to, what are the most likely outcomes statistically? What are my best shots? And so I like to put in a good amount of time with them, explore them first, and then we'll go to things a little bit more unconventional or stuff that I think other people aren't doing. Alright guys, this is one of my favorite places to throw this. The famed 8-inch Huddleston, and particularly this. This is the Ghost, or the Phantom color. What a lot of people don't realize is that it's not just about the see-through. This Phantom color, the painting process is different. It's not opaque, I don't know if you could see, but it's kind of like a silverized, kind of metallic spray. And so the Phantom one, not only does it have a more kind of neutral look in the water, but also if you have any sun, it'll actually throw light. Whereas the other ones, they have that more whitish opaque, which pops better in a little bit cloudy water, but this has a slight bit of flash to it. And it's perfect. It's not over the top if you're really looking to go natural, because of course fish aren't see-through, but that kind of slight reflective finish really approaches what a trout looks like. I'm gonna try to parallel this rock wall here. So the good thing about this is that most of the places I fish, I tend to err on the side of smaller bodies of water. I really, more of a pond guy, fishing places, you know, anywhere from like 15 acres up to about just shy of 100. Not that that's a pond, but this is a big one for me. It's really deep. It's just a big place. So I have to, of course, alter my approach. You can't just beat the banks like you normally would. But what I do like about this place is that it does have a very healthy rainbow trout population. So even though I've caught some of my best fish on rainbow trout lures in bodies of water where they don't even exist, it is just mentally, I don't know, just comforting, reassuring to know that they are in here, and the bass can absolutely see them and maybe have a history of eating them. It's just about to split, but haven't showed them this. I'm going to show them a gill. It's the Mattlures, the Hammertail. Hammer. It's a bright color for this water, but pops, no doubt. So I got a little flat here, just gonna make a couple casts. Really want to get back to this cove. It's like the main cove. It's got lots of standing timber. I did really well back there, not last year, the year before. I was just there at the right time. The fish here are so selective. They get a lot of pressure from tournaments, and it's like you just have to kind of wait it out. I could fish all day and get like a bite, but then all of a sudden these little windows of like active feeding times will turn on, and I happen to be there during one. And it's like, I could put anything in the water for about an hour, hour and a half there, and the fish were just voraciously attacking it. Nice cast. Another big fish on the big jig. But, you know, half hour before that, couldn't get bit. And once that period dried up, same area, fish were tuned out again. That's my big stuff. That's my big stuff. If you fish small stuff, you're fishing Ned rigs, 4-inch Senkos, you know, you can get bit all day. Well, those things. But you know me, always trying to throw something big, hoping for that giant. See if I can confirm any bluegills back here. Might be a little early. Doesn't mean you can't have some of the big bass coming back. I always heard, I don't know if this is the truth or not, but I hear that the biggest, baddest females claim their spots earliest, and that the biggest fish tend to spawn earlier. I also heard that they tend to spawn deeper. So I'm playing the early angle here because the water temps are only 54 top water. So you can imagine if you go down a couple feet, it's not really spawning temps. But my hope is that I'm playing the idea that maybe there's like a big giant fish, one of, you know, that claims her spot earlier than all the rest, and by the time most people are fishing shallow, she's done. She's already moved out. I don't know, you know, you can only, it's all about assumptions, right guys? You just don't know, you just have to think something and explore that possibility. the worst that happens, right? You don't get bit. You have everything to lose, everything to gain. Little Huddgill action, guys. You can see that's the phantom one. Alternating between the big 8-inch trout and the Huddgill. Where was that cast going? Not where I wanted it. Got him. Oh, big smallie. Stay on it. Oh, yeah. Woo, yeah, guys. Big smallie on the Huddgill. Not the giant largemouth we're looking for, but we'll take that smallie any day. Nice. Can't beat that with a bat. Wow. She came in shallow water too, man. That was only about 6 feet of water. Yeah, that's probably a little better lighting wise. Nice. That's gotta be I'd say a strong 4 1/4, 4 1/2 maybe. Bam. My best smallmouth actually came out of here. You know, I'm always just gunning for that giant largemouth, but was it 2 years ago? I got a 5.3 out of here. Guys, what a gorgeous fish. That was a nice surprise. Never thought I'd really see a 5-pound smallie. We're looking at 4 flat. Nice 4-pounder. Now smallmouth typically aren't alone, but that could have been a loner. I don't know. He's right off this wall here. It's just a good hunting spot. Gotta remember to mind my line. Typically they're not alone, so I'm gonna make a play on kind of where I got the bite, but I'm casting now from the opposite side, an opposite angle, which I like to do anyway. You know, before I leave a spot, if I've got a bite from there or a fish from there, I don't like to keep making the same angle. It just doesn't make sense. It's weird. Even if the fish don't understand, it's just something that probably just doesn't add up in their brain, that these things keep coming from the same direction past them, same direction past them. And so if you got a spot that you got a couple hits on, part of my letting it cool down and coming back is to come back at a different angle. So now we're casting the exact opposite way, but still putting it in that prime position. We're still paralleling this rock bank. I think before I was a little closer actually. And nice and slow. You can go crazy slow with these little Huddgills. Alright guys, so just coming off of getting that nice 4-pound smallmouth. Gonna parallel another rock wall here with the big 8-inch Hud Phantom Rainbow. Alright, make sure everything's in order. Make sure everything is in order. I never know, right? It might come today, it might not come for another couple of years, but sooner or later that trophy lifetime of a fish will hit. And you just gotta treat every single cast like it's the one. Gotta treat every single cast like it's the one. Gotta treat every single cast like it's the one. That smallie just woke me up. Thus far, my bites this year have just been on Kind of like almost where I'm expecting them, or I can see them. I've been getting a lot of wake bait bites here in the early spring. Fishing shallow, close to cover, lay down, stuff like that. And as much as I've been slinging the trout and some of my other subsurface lures, haven't had a lot of, haven't been very productive thus far. But this is my first time here. This particular lake, this place is known, as far as, at least as far as New Jersey goes, as having some true giants in it. Hard to get them to commit. This place gets a lot of pressure, but I always feel good because I don't think too many people are throwing the Hud. I've never seen it, to be honest with you. I've never seen anybody throwing big baits here or almost any of the other places I go. Just don't really see it too often, so I'm happy to follow up these areas. I've lost count of how many fishermen fish this rock wall here with the jerkbait. Just this wall right here must get, I don't know how many thousands of casts per weekend, but I'd say the vast majority of them are either with a Kitech, swing impact fat, a 4-inch Senko, or a jerkbait. But the big 8-inch Hud trout coming through, that I don't think they see too often, if at all. And it's the phantom color, all natural. It's good stuff. I have a little bit of a history at this place with this lure. Same exact setup, just a different color. Killed it a few years ago back here. Nabbed the 6-pounder, which is a nice New Jersey fish. Love to get a bigger one. See a nice little spot in there. Good luck getting them out, but we'll worry about getting the strike first. "14 feet of water." Temperature didn't go up as much as I thought. It's only up, at least here, 1 degree up, 1 degree higher than the main lake body. And while I have a lot bigger lures, the Huddgill's really kind of like the smallest thing I throw. I just feel like it's a good choice for back here right now. Obviously I have to go weedless, because for every tree you see standing up, there's one that's on its side. Exposed hook ain't gonna do it. Oh, look at that. It's like a yellow woodpecker. I'm gonna tie on this burrito baits. I would love to use my Hammertail, but I just can't. I guess there's so much, you can see all the standing timber, and there's so much that's laying down. So all you feel, you know, is a million pieces of timber when you bring it back in. So I say all that because I just can't get away with the exposed hook. So right now I'm rocking the Huddgill for a gill profile. Water's a little murky. I mean, I'm sure they could find that gill no matter what. But I'm going to give them another option here, a little bit different profile in the Burrito Baits Taquito. And I got that big owner beast on there. Little weight, little 3/8 ounce weight on the bottom, which is good because this is shallow. This is, right now I'm only in, turn my sonar off. I think this is only about 8 feet of water, and I'm going to be pushing back into more shallow water. So this keels it, keeps it nice and upright, that weight. This weight's not flopping on its side, but makes her still a very nice, slow fall. But yeah, the bluegill profile is really what I want, because that's what's back here in years past. I'm sure there's some perch back here too, but it's really bluegill and a lot of bass. This is baby making spot numero uno in this entire lake. So we'll see if we can get someone here on the Taquito. Still waiting for this lake to show me a giant. It's known for it. It's a good lake. Known for big fish, but it's also known to be kind of more of a finesse bait kind of place. It gets a lot of pressure. There's a lot of tournaments here, and the standard seems to be to downsize. Ned rigs, little Kitex going down to like the little 4-inch non-fat ones, just the standard ones. 4-inch Senkos, you know, that seems to be the thing. So you know me, I'm always chucking that big bait. The bass are here. I mean, they're cruising. There's another one. Good, they're here. I like that. I just need to, first thing I need to do is to turn my boat. Alright, well, boat don't turn. I'll take a cast where I am. Maybe it's meant to be. Okay, Taquito. Make sure our drag is nice and good. Oh, I was mentioning, when you come in here and you launch, there's like this shed up by the boat ramp. There's all these pictures on it, and there's a number of 7s and 8s, and I don't know if they have a weigh station here, but I have no doubt in my mind, as someone who's generally critical of what people say, you know, these are fish that are a hell of a lot bigger than the 6s that I've caught. So that's what I'm after, is one of those 7s or 8s. This place produces them, and this is it for me. I mean, I think the rest of the year they are hard to find, man. They like to go deep here. They can make a living going deep. It's a nice clear water place. But this time of year, that's it. You know, those big girls, they're going to move up. They're going to be accessible to even schmucks like me can catch them. You know, there's another cruiser. There's a lot of fish here, man. It's good. It's maybe a 2.5, 3 pound fish. Let's do some nice long casts. We got perfect conditions though, man. Perfect conditions. Water temp's right. We got overcast skies, a little bit of chop, but not too much. I mean, I can't ask for better than this. Oh man, as I was chilling. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Motor's on, fish is running. Oh man. Stay on. Come on, hooks. Alright, well I can't go any further because I got this tree here. Still on. Thank God it's not a giant. Got her. That's an exercise on how to not catch a fish. I tell you, back here with all this timber, man, it's hard. You take some gambles depending on where you cast. Solid fish. On the G2. I can't even get her over. Gosh, she's fat. Whew. And there it is. Alright everybody, so here we go, back here in the timber in the shallows, right where they should be. Shellcracker, a little close. Short fish, nice and fat, pre-spawn fish. It's a match made in heaven, man. They want the bluegills. You know, I could go bigger with the lure, but it just doesn't make sense for back here. This is what they want, this is what they're annihilating, and you can get a fish of any size on this little guy, particularly fishing the shallow water timber. Nice. I want to push back even further. I want to go into that ultra skinny water back there. I like hitting those spots, man, because it's spots where the guys in the traditional size boats, they can get back here. You know, we're still in water that they can get into for sure. This is 3 feet back here. But I like going where you gotta have the little boat. Or I should say the boat with the shallow draft to it. Let's go right back there, man. You just don't know, right? Skinny water does not necessarily mean skinny fish. You could have a giant hiding back here. For just that reason, that most people won't push back this far. Alright, let's see what's down this. Little one. Little one. The male. All right. All right, guys, you saw that little one there. That's the male. I'm gonna see if there's a larger female hanging out. That's like a 2-pound fish. Back here in this channel, I tell you, this place, past couple years, I'd be walking right now for this whole area. This was all solid because the water levels are so low, and I thought they'd be utilizing it. There's a lot of good stuff back here. And because that water level for many decades was about, well, there's a better fish. There's a much better fish right there. Yeah, I'm definitely in the right spot. All right, let's get down to business here. But anyway, yeah, these fish I think had, well, this is a young fish, but older fish, I think they probably are somewhat territorial, and I want to say go back to the same places year over year. Particularly the biggest, you know, meanest, oldest fish, claiming those spots. And yeah, so they've finally put the water back into this place so those fish can get back to those areas that for years they used to go up into. Anyway, guys, just more of the same. G2, let me put it close to myself. There we go. Not trying to do it. It looks good in the camera there, but here we go. You're talking probably a 2-pound fish with the belly, maybe 15 inches. So the Shellcracker is it. And that's been I started out fishing again the deeper water, but it's the skinny water. I thought they'd be in like that 8, you know, whatever, like 10, 8, 6 feet of water. There's so many stumps and laydowns and branches. And it wasn't until I pushed back into about 3 feet or less of water that I started getting my bites. I have no doubt that there's still fish back in the deeper water, but these guys here, it's just right over their head. They only have to go up like a foot or two to get it, whereas the other fish, they kind of have to commit to it a little more. So no real reason in doing this, but I think I can get bites on any color. I'm going to try to go to something a little shocking. I've been using the natural color, or the bright bluegill. I'm going to go to the white one here. The water's clear, but not the clearest it's ever been. There's a decent one right there. So maybe just a little shock value. I know the big fish are back here, and every year when this happens, I seem to get a lot of the average to big ones. But I see a couple giants swimming around, so I'm just going to try to do something different. Let me try to shock them with the white color. I don't know. Something, right? I'm feeling I'll get bit no matter what. So I'm going to switch up my bright bluegill for that white color, see what happens. It's like, how do you get him out? Alright, we'll get the strike first, and then worry about getting them out. I have a feeling most of the best fish are not going to come up and nab this. Maybe at night or something, but I have a feeling, I mean, in years past. Oh, as I say that, light strike too. Ooh, that's a big one. 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 I think I did it, guys. I think I just did it. As I'm saying, I don't think the big one will come up for this. Quest for 7. I got it, baby. I got it. This is a 7. This is a 7 something, baby. I got it. I found me a New Jersey 7. That's better. Guys, this is better than a 7. You ready? Let me know if you're ready. Guys, I've been pursuing this fish. I've been trying to crack 7 now for the past 3 years, since 2015. That's a big fish. That is a big fish. We did it. We did it. I didn't even get a weight yet, but we did it. This is it. Alright guys, so that's the beauty of the stringer here. It allows you to compose yourself, get situated. I got my scales, I got my measuring boards, everything's set up now, and didn't have to go crazy. Again, you guys with a live well, of course, but for us kayak, or canoe fishermen, kayak fishermen, john boat guys, you don't have a live well, you gotta make do. And if you put them in that net, you know, they could real easy jump out. So this stringer here is a pretty good deal. Gotta keep a good hand on her. I didn't even get a weight yet, so I don't want her to shake free before the moment of truth. This might be a little bit more of a telling angle right here. First, let's get some weights. The scale here is certified by IFGA. Okay, it's zeroed. I don't know if I can get this on her. Almost 8, 7/15 and an 1/8. 7/15. Second weight, guys, I always got my backup scale. I even have batteries, backup batteries for my backup scale. Let's corroborate this fish. I like this scale better. It's holding that 8 flat. No, there it is, 715. 715. Okay. So afraid she's gonna shake loose now. Well, I got my weights. Crushed the PB of 6.6 that I got in 2015. All those days, all those nights, you just never know, right? I wouldn't have, people say they wouldn't have expected it. It's like, when would you expect it? Today was a good day. It was seemingly on a decent bite, and this is the place I wanted to be. It finally worked, man. It finally, whew, God. Just shy of an 8-pound New Jersey bass, 715 and change. Wow, god damn. And she looks it. God, does she look it. So I want to keep her in good shape. Let's see. Alright guys, I'm going to kill the camera just for a second. I'm going to get some measurements here, take some pictures, and I don't really even know what else to say. I'm still like in shock. I'm still just trying to process here. It has been a journey. It has been a journey searching for you. I love you. All the hours, the late midnights, the 3:30 in the morning wake-ups, all for this one moment, guys. That's it. That's the passion right there. That's why we pursue them. Finally pays off in the end. Wow. So this is it, guys. This is the moment. You know, you work so hard, and it's just like I literally want to be with the fish. There's this connection, you know, when you pursue these giants. You finally cross paths with them, and it's like, you know, you just want it to last. And particularly for me, man, you know, having fought so hard, and not me so much, but the Northeast is a tough place to crack these kind of fish, and depending on your waterways, it could be years before I see another one like this. I hope it isn't. Maybe I'll crack this PB this year, but this is up there. A 715, a lot of guys will never see it here in New Jersey, and I could go a very long time before seeing this fish like this again. So this is the moment. It's just I would never do a skin mount. I want this fish to be healthy and to be back in the gene pool, but anyway, I'm gonna let her go. Got her in the water here. I'm going to hit the record button on this one. We're going to say goodbye. We're going to say goodbye. You ready to go? You are free. I know you've been... She's probably in some shock, you know. Tried to really treat her good, keeping her in the water as much as possible on that stringer. She's going to need a minute. This gives you a good sense to unbind my canoe, and it gives you a good sense of just how wide this fish is. You're free. I like to watch fish like this swim away. So in my mind, I know what a fish like that looks like when next time I'm looking at a shadow, you know, and I say, oh, it's a this or that. I just saw what a pretty much an 8-pound fish looks like, what its silhouette looks like. Finally, that's all I could say. Finally. Hey guys, so I'm just heading back in. It's supposed to be a real early day for me too. I was supposed to only be on the water till about 2:33. Got to pick up my daughter and stuff, and that was kind of hurting. Here's a case in point, and this is interesting because my PB up until this point, that's 6.6. I went out on a day. I drove about an hour, set up my boat and everything, and I only had about an hour and a half to fish. So that was a lot of work, right? Drive an hour, set up, fish for an hour, you know? Similar deal today. It was about an hour away, and I had about 3 hours to fish. But all the crap I put in my canoe, it's like 20 minutes to set up. And sometimes it just feels like it's just work. It's a lot more effort. But every time, almost like, you know, it's like an itch I couldn't scratch. I had this what if complex. Like, well, fish don't know. They don't care that you've been on the water for 8 hours or 10 hours. That's not the equation. You know, you don't get that giant because you're out there some period of time. It could come on your first cast. Maybe you only have a lunch break and you're out there for a half hour and you can catch the best fish of your life. You can catch a state record, right? There's no rules to this stuff. And so this place here, man, has always been my nemesis. Always been, because I always knew it had the giants. It's known for it. But I've always struggled desperately here. Even when I was fishing my traditional lures, I had a hard time doing numbers and, you know, so-so on the big bites. But I kept coming back. Year after year after year, I kept coming back, putting in work. And then today, right? Drove up here an hour. I only had about 3 hours to fish. And look what happened. The fish that I've been looking for forever. I mean, it's the biggest fish I ever caught. Ever since I was a little kid, I dreamed of catching a bass like that. But particularly since 2015, when I really went hard with the big baits. I cracked that 6.6 early in the season. I think that was my second trip out. It was like my second trip, 10 casts in to really being, you know, focused on big baits, and I crack a 6.6. And that year, I would crack a few more 6s and a bunch of 5s. And I said, this big bait stuff is awesome. I was like, I should have done this years ago. This is 1, 2, 3. I was like, I'm catching fish like I never caught in my life. And ever since that was a couple years ago, ever since then, I don't know why, it just tanked for me, just struggled. I was struggling just to get a couple really good bites each year. I lost a couple really good ones each year. You know how it is, man, and I'm not about the fish stories, but it always seems like my best fish were getting off. But it's all to say, guys, is just, it's a long road, but if you got that thing in your gut, if you just want that moment with that thing, that fish, you know, that few people can claim, just keep at it, man. Just keep at it. You know, and it's funny, as I'm saying this, I'm thinking of those guys out in Georgia and Cali and all these other places where they crack double digits, or Butch Brown and his fish there in the teens. It's like, this fish here is an ounce shy of 8, and it's like, it blew my mind. I can't imagine like these state records, man. I can't imagine what goes through people's minds, or the strength. That fish just had some brute strength, and it was an 8-pound fish. I can't imagine 11s or 12s or higher. Anyway, guys, just a lot of talking here. Just, I'm purging. It just happened. The moment, it just happened, and I'm soaking it in. I'm just taking in my surroundings, everything. I'm breathing the air. I'm remembering the day, the clouds, what's the wind and the air temperature like. It's like I'm just, this moment is being etched into my brain. I'll be an old man on my deathbed, and for anyone that'll listen, I'll probably be able to describe this day, this moment, this place like I'm looking at a picture. That's how desperately I've been pursuing a fish like that. Maybe it's craziness, maybe it's an illness. I know some of you understand. Others are like, you're nuts, dude. You're nuts. But I'll be it, man. What's life if you can't have something that you're truly passionate about? And for whatever reason, mine happens to be the pursuit of a giant fish. And now that's done. Well, not done, but I don't know. I can't reasonably go out there and expect to crack an 8 or a 9 now. That's going into very, very small probabilities. So now I kind of just go back to fishing for fun. I'm still going to throw my big stuff, but it's like, it feels like the weight is off my shoulders, because this is all I wanted. This is my reason for going out on days that I didn't want to go out, was that. I was just telling my wife the other day, I was like, once I get that fish, that strong 7 or that 8, I was like, honestly, I was like, I feel like I could take a break. Like, I just don't have to go as hard on this anymore. I was like, but I can't stop until I succeed. And it's happened, man. I succeeded. And I'm not saying this for me, man. I know it's a lot of me, but I'm really just putting it out there for all of you out there. Particularly, I'm always kind of tipping my hat to you Northeast guys, but it's true of the Mid-Atlantic, the Pacific Northwest, you know, wherever. You see these giants down south in Cali and stuff, and you know you want to get one in your state, and you just know how rare it is. Stick with it, man. Stick with it. I'm sure you've heard it a million times, but now I'm here living that moment, and I'm telling you, There is nothing like the feeling that I feel right now, and I would want for anybody who's after a trophy fish, regardless of species, to feel this. It's just like, it's a euphoria. I just feel so full and just complete and satisfied, and just, it's euphoric, man. It's awesome. So, if you're still watching, thank you. Thanks for those of you guys who subscribe, and got a lot of reviews coming and all that jazz. I don't know what else to say. I think that's it, guys. On that note, I will bid you adieu. Thanks for taking this journey with me. And who knows? Who the hell knows? Stranger things have happened, right? Maybe later this year, I crack into an even bigger fish. That would be crazy. So, anyway, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Keep pursuing those monsters.